For a very long time, an economic war has gone on between the West and Asia. It's not uncommon to find countries like America and China in a struggle for some form of supremacy across a number of sectors. In this video, we'll look at some of the well-known cars in the West and observe how China is pulling some of the biggest manufacturing weights to capture the automobile market. In whose favor will this war of cars finally swing? The automobile industry dates back to the 19th century and started when Carl Benz requested for patency for his gas engine-powered vehicle. Of course, it was a far cry from what we can call a car today, but it was a step in the right direction from horse-drawn carriages. In Asia, wagons were still largely used, and this would not change for over 100 years until China would fully venture into car making with one of its first cars, the Hongqi, manufactured in the 50s. Remember this one. We'll come to this later. While it started with Benz's first attempt to make an engine-drawn vehicle, other inventors like Henry Ford also decided to try out car making, and so the Ford cars were invented. More countries began to show interest in the industry, with Germany attempting to create cheap and affordable cars like the Volkswagen during the Second World War. This was an initiative by the Naziist government, and although it didn't exactly go as planned, the need to have a cheap vehicle soon became a major need among the Germans. India was also getting ready to join the League of Car Makers, and so Tata, a locomotive-making company, partnered with Daimler-Benz AG in 1954 to create their first car. At this time, China was making a steady recovery from economic depression. The country had been almost completely destroyed following the Chinese Civil Wars in the years gone by. Also, the Second World War had worsened the country's industry. With the change in the political landscape and the beginning of the government of Chairman Mao in 1949, the stage was set for the country's industrialization to begin. China's economy began to recover at this point, and so the automobile industry was revamped after the first attempt with Chang'an Automobile in 1862. In 1958, the first set of indigenous cars became available to the market. This included brands like the Hongqi CA72, which was finally finished in 1959. Others included the Dongfeng CA71 and the Fenghuang, which would later be renamed as Shanghai SH670. Most of the cars manufactured at this point were for local consumption, even though there was still an appreciable export level. However, with increases in trade wars, economic dynamics, and the need to outcompete other markets, the Chinese automobile industry has evolved today to become one of the largest car exporters, challenging the West, its Japanese and Korean competitors. Is there a chance that China will one day become the most accepted car to drive in the years ahead? What do they offer as car brands today that could easily sway buyers to look their way? When choosing a car, there are a number of competitive factors that the Chinese cars and their counterparts from around the world could explore. And we like to believe that one of the most likely criteria that buyers will be looking at is the cost of the car. The Chinese company Geely comes to mind when car affordability is mentioned. Geely cars come as EVs, SUVs, and sedans at the moment. Officially known as the Sheshang Geely Holding Group, the company was founded in 1986. Today, Geely cars are one of the preferred car choices for Chinese drivers. The 2023 model of the Geely Panda Mini sells for between $5,900 to about $6,300. In comparison with the Toyota brand, some people might argue that the Japanese brand offers durability as well as a track record of consistent performance. Indeed, these are great points, but the average cost of a 2023 Toyota Corolla model sells for between $21,550 to about $23,060. Again, some people might argue that the car models and designs are different, but all vehicles have one primary purpose, which is transportation. And if a $6,000 car can do just that, why spend more on another car? However, the price should not be the sole determiner of what to buy. The Toyota brand is largely known for its fuel economy, and so what it fails to make up for in price when compared to the Geely, it more than makes up for in its fuel conservation design. In recent times, the need for a healthier, safer world has taken the front burner. This means that we should expect more EVs and automobiles that promote less pollution. Under this option, China is not left behind, as it's been actively involved in the making of these kinds of cars. The BYD, for instance, is China's contribution to the automobile industry. It appears to be one of the strongest rivals to Elon Musk's Tesla, and in 2022, it sold more EVs than Tesla. While it's possible that the sheer size of the Chinese market contributed to this, it's undeniable that BYD is making quite a huge impact in the market. What does BYD have going for it? Some experts have pointed to the car's safer battery technology. This is further supported by the extended lifespan of the battery, which is projected to last about 5 times the battery lifespan of other EVs. On the other hand, Tesla has the advantage of early acceptance, higher options of luxury, and offers options like self-driving for its drivers. The Tesla team is also working around the clock to ensure that it continues to innovate its EVs and provide better options and values for its customers. However, the US market must be on the lookout, as China has no plans to slow down. At the moment, Chinese EVs have quite a firm foothold in Europe, and it might not be long before this is replicated in the United States. The size of a car may not appear to be much of an option when choosing a car. However, people choose cars based on their unique needs, and a large truck might not be the preferred choice of a prospective car buyer when a smaller, and in most cases cheaper car might serve his interests. Wuling is a Chinese minivan maker founded in 1982. Some of their products include the Bingo, Air EV, Hongguang Mini EV, Nebula, and more. Most of their designs are petite, compact vehicles with electric power steering and front-wheel drive systems. Some users of this car love it because of its easy-to-park feature. Its mini size also allows it to drive through confined spaces that other vehicles might not be able to. Its British counterpart, the Mini Cooper, is loved for its simplicity and shape. Of course, with BMW acquiring it, it now has more shapes and designs. The starting price for a Mini Cooper is put at between $29,900, while the Wuling goes from between $4,800 to $14,700. However, the price is not the only factor to consider when thinking about what to get. The engine power, durability, and overall performance should also be considered. The story of China's automobile industry might not be complete without mentioning the Hongqi model. It was one of the first high-end cars ever manufactured in the late 50s. It was initially designed for only government officials, as the name Hongqi means red flag. Today, this beast of a car is one of the most luxurious Chinese car brands. The closest car in comparison to the Hongqi is the Cadillac. Both are imposing cars, used for official services. Cadillac owners can look forward to adequate information, financing options, a suite of products, and much more as allowed in the US market. Will China's Hongqi eventually take over the market, especially as some of the technology used in its initial manufacture is no longer accessible? Whether this happens now, later in the future, or never at all, China continues to make huge strides in a bid to dominate the automobile market. For instance, Great Wall Motors doesn't offer only durability, but one of the highest contributions to clean energy. Recently, the maker of this car was able to achieve a significant milestone with their hydrogen fuel-powered batteries. GWM's latest technology means that hydrogen, as opposed to carbon, will be used instead. Several countries are already lining up behind to explore this huge innovative step, as evidenced in the hybrid models in China, Thailand, Brazil, South Africa, Chile, and Pakistan. As the automobile industry continues to evolve, it might be unclear to state which country will win the hearts and market size of the world. However, if technology, renewable energy, comfort, and luxury factors go by, then we can only speculate if the US or Japan remains in their position, or if they're toppled by China's unending quest for higher patronage and dominance. We hope you enjoyed this video. Tell us in the comment section who you think will win this automobile war and why you think so. Also, remember to subscribe if you haven't, so you never have to miss out on our videos when we upload them.